Hello everybody, my name's Ryan and I'm a driving instructor, and today driving test cancellation apps. So driving test cancellation apps, what's all that about? Well, got an email. As of the 12th of August, the DVSA published guidance on their Ready to Pass website to educate learners on the risks of driving cancellation finder services. That's the line. Before we go any further though, like, comment and subscribe. Subscribing is free. So why am I bringing it up? Well, a long time ago I used to say that actually these services were pretty good. They were reasonable. They found you an earlier test. It wasn't really a problem when the waiting time was like 6 or 8 weeks. But now it's like 4 or 5 months. People are using them a lot more. So the government's issued, DVSA has issued these guidelines and what you should share with your pupils, and your pupils value your opinion as an instructor. So please read the guidance and share with it. I'm not going to tell everybody this. Why should I do that? This is an absolute waste of time. What I'm going to do instead is going to make a lovely YouTube video so everybody can watch it and then everybody's on the same page. I'm going to offer my input as a plane flies over, that what I feel about this. Okay, so this was issued on the 12th of August 2024. New guidance to help learner drivers stay safe online when they book and manage their driving test. Some learner drivers are turning to unofficial websites and apps. Now, I'm aware of some of the unofficial ones where people were paying like 100 quid to get a driving test. And what they were doing was they're using the instructor's booking service, which is different to the pupil's booking service. And they were booking everybody who came through on their system. They were booking everybody a driving test. So if you wanted a driving test like next week, they could probably find you one, because all they do is just swap you around in their diary system. And it's really easy to do on the booking and managing services for instructors, and large companies who have multiple logins and multiple driving instructors registered can then swap and change hundreds of these every single day, and obviously they have. They charge a lot of money for this service, but it's something your instructor should be quite capable of doing if you are ready. And this is what this says. DVSA does not run, approve or endorse any cancellation finder apps or services. Fine, we know, because you're the government. The government.uk is the only official driving test booking service. It's like stating the obvious, isn't it? Then it goes into the risks of unofficial websites. You know, I don't really need to read all of this. Basically, what it says is that it believes that it breaches the Data Protection Act quite significantly, to a point where it's not telling you that it's collecting your data. It's not telling you or explaining the rights you have to rectify or delete your personal data. Not explaining the legal basis for processing your personal data, and not saying how long they store your personal data. Some of the apps, what they're really doing is they're just interrogating the booking service, not the instructor one, but the regular one. And what it's basically doing is just going in every sort of few seconds and basically checking to see if there's anything there. If there's anything there, and then it just books it. But some of the website ones, the ones where we can get you a test in 1 week, they go through and mine your data basically, because they have all the data on your booking system, on your license, because you give them all your license details, you give them your address, your phone number, your date of birth, yeah, everything. It then goes on to say, check that you're ready, really ready for an earlier test. Right, hang on. So what if somebody fails? They've got to wait 6 months for a driving test. What happens if somebody's got a theory test that's about to expire? That means they've got to go and do theory again. But the theory doesn't expire for 4 months, but they can't get a driving test. You can see the circle. However, I sort of agree that you shouldn't kind of be using the websites and things. You need to be ready to take it with the driving test rate, the test pass rate under 50%, and mine's higher than that, and I'll still end up getting a standard check. It's clear that many people take the test before they're ready. You know what? No, I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think that's true at all. I think that 30-40% of people are genuinely unlucky through no fault of their own. There's another 15% that are probably absolutely not ready whatsoever, and probably another 10% that are so nervous that can't pass. And there are some people that go to driving tests and just fluke them. So that's not specifically, if I can say it, true. That ends up wasting their time and money. Yeah, if you're not ready, it does end up wasting your time and your money, and it makes driving test times waiting longer for everyone. Yeah, because you've got to rebook and rebook and rebook, where somebody else could have had that slot, could have passed. But then that means that you're getting a cancellation if somebody cancels their driving test, so that doesn't make sense, does it? Anyway, research shows that on average it takes people 45 hours of driving lessons with a driving instructor plus 22 hours of private practice to pass their driving test. That's new a little bit. Originally they used to say it took between 40 and 60 and 20 hours of private practice, so they've reviewed that down a little. Now, funny enough, the person that phoned me, who shall remain anonymous, about my standard check said, oh well, you've got to go and cover every base and every roundabout and every junction and every road. What am I going to do? 5-hour motorway lessons? Funny enough, I've got one of them coming up. But what am I going to do with it? Well, you can't. It's impossible to teach absolutely everything. It's impossible that you come up to a traffic light and it's suddenly turned to red, for example, because that's an impossible scenario. It is absolutely impossible. Probably do need about that time, but most people, by the time they get to test, some younger people can probably do it in 30 hours. Some older people probably do take your age and double it. So if you're 40, it takes you 80 hours. It happens. If you're thinking of looking for an earlier driving test, you need to be confident that you're ready to pass. Most people are, and then they realise that they're not when they're on the test. You usually are ready to take your driving test when, next page, you do not need prompts from your driving instructor. To a degree, yeah. You do not make serious or dangerous mistakes when you're driving. People literally make serious and dangerous mistakes when they're driving, whether they passed or failed or whatever. It happens all the time. You can pass mock driving tests. Sometimes mock driving tests don't give a true picture of what is really going to happen. Your instructor will give you more. I'm quite thorough with them. I'm overly marked sometimes. It's a difficult one because I upload all those videos and you can see what's going to happen way before it happens, and you can also see it in the pupils when they're going to do it. You can see it before it happens. Examiners don't fail people intentionally. What happens is the people will volunteer all by themselves to fail all by themselves without any interaction. Yes. You have practiced ways of managing your nerves is the fourth one. Fair, yeah. 5, your driving instructor agrees when you are ready. I did a little video on this quite a long time ago about somebody who said, I'm ready, I want to do my test, and I felt they weren't, so I withdrew the car. They then went and complained to the DVSA. DVSA upheld the complaint, surprisingly, don't know why, and said it stays on your record for 2 years. Catch-22, proper catch-22 situation. Back in the day, before COVID, you used to be able to say, yeah, go on, I'll chuck them in, see how they do. And some people used to do all right, and some people used to pass, and they used to come back for remedials. But now you can't because of the waiting time for driving tests. So you've got to make the most of every single opportunity. And then it goes on about the cancellation services. Check how much the cancellation finders will charge. You normally have to pay for a driving test cancellation finders service. Every service will have its own prices and terms and conditions. Make sure you fully understand how much you'll pay before you consider signing up. Make sure it doesn't mislead you by omission, and get in touch with the Advertising Standards Authority and complain about hidden charges. I kind of get it. That's the line that they should toe. Don't use them. Let your instructor look after you, and let your instructor change it for you. That's probably the best solution. If you could be ready early, and you could end up getting a swap to an earlier time or an earlier date. You never know. It might just happen that way. If you're waiting 4 months and you're test ready now, it might be that they can find you an early date, your instructor, because there might be somebody in their book that isn't ready. And if they're not ready, oh, well, yeah, you're not ready for this. What I'll do is bounce it on a little bit. You're not really bouncing it on for that person that isn't ready. You're probably going to bring somebody forward into that slot because they're already ready and they need to do that driving test, and you need to get that person off your book. I kind of get the whole towing the line from the government thing. Yeah, you shouldn't really use them because it is causing problems. But the problems aren't caused by the apps. And this is the important point. The problems are caused by not having enough examiners to do the driving tests, so they can get through the backlog, which we're now getting into 2025, 5 years after COVID, and we've still got this backlog. Somebody told me that the courts are in the same position, that they're still years behind. Probate, massive one. You think probate? Oh yeah, people get to get probate in like 3 and 4 months and stuff. In the event of somebody passing away, you enter probate. 3 years. Nobody knows why. Operations down, but then a lot of it is caused by mismanagement, and I reckon that that's what this kind of is. They're issuing this because effectively they've mismanaged it. But who's accountable? Well, according to their blog, it's not them. So who is it then? The civil service? Nobody seems to know. Maybe you know. Maybe you can drop a like. Maybe you can comment. Subscribe. It's free. Become a member if you want to see these videos early. Yeah. Lovely sunny day. Hope you enjoy your weekend, your evening, or whenever you're watching this, your afternoon, your day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.